Today we're going to be testing how well you can smell, your sensitivity to odors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be presenting two stimuli to you. For example, here's the first one, and here's the second one. What I'm going to be asking you to do is tell me which of the two that I present is stronger, the first or the second. If you're not sure, you have to guess. You have to tell me one or the other, okay? There may or may not be an odor per se. You may just notice something slightly different, and then you just report which is strongest, which is subtly different. It doesn't have to be a pure odor as we might think of an odor. Okay? That's understandable? Okay. So let's get started. Here's the first one. And here's the second one. Which is stronger, the first or the second?
The first.
Okay, here's the first one. And the second one.
The second one.
Second one?
Yes.
Okay. First one. And the second one.
The second one.
There's the first one. And the second one.
The first one.
First one. And the second one.
The second one.
I will now explain how we presented the stimuli and the procedure for collecting the data and determining the threshold value. So first of all, you'll notice at the bottom of this sheet, there are O's and B's. O means down that trial, you present the odor first and then the blank. On the next trial, the B would be you present the blank first and then the odor. So we started out at the 10 to the minus 6, which on this equipment is actually 6. We presented O, which means the odor first, and then the blank on the first trial. And the subject indicated that he thought the strongest odor was the first one, so he was correct. So we put a plus in here for a correct response. So the first trial had a plus. The second trial, we presented a blank and then the odorant at that same concentration. In this case, he said it was the second stimulus that was strongest, and indeed he was correct. So we put another plus up here. Third trial, we presented blank and then odor. He indicated that it was the second one that was strongest. He was correct, so we put a plus in here. Fourth trial, we presented an odor and a blank. He indicated that the first of the two was the stronger, and he was correct, so we put another plus in here. Then finally, so he's gotten 4 correct here. We're moving down to 5. The fifth trial, we gave a blank and the odor. He said the second one was strongest. He was correct. So we get all 5 correct. So in this case, once we achieve 5 correct at any one concentration, we move down in concentration. Now, had he missed anything here, we would have skipped up 2 steps, or a full log concentration, and started over again until 5 sets of pairs were done correctly. But he right away got all 5 sets of pairs correct. So we moved down in a half log step. So the next trial, at that next lower concentration, we gave a blank and the odor. He indicated that it was the second one that was strongest. He was correct, so we put a plus in here. Then we presented the blank and the odorant. He said the first was correct, and he was wrong. So we put a 0 in here. So now we move back up to the next level. In this case, this is number 6 level, or 10 to the minus 6. We present an odorant and then a blank. He thought the second one was strongest, and he was wrong. So we moved up to the next highest level, 10 to the minus 5.5 or 5.5. And again, we presented the first trial was an odor and a blank. He said it was the first one he believed, and he was correct. And then we presented a blank and an odor, and he indicated it was the second one, and he was correct. So once we have achieved that initial 5 correct trials, after this, it's only 2 correct trials that are needed to move down to a lower concentration. So for example, here we had 5 sets of pairs correct. We moved down to the next lowest level, and the second of the set of pairs was wrong, so we moved up to the next level, back at 6 again. Here we missed the first of the pairs, so we didn't do the second pair. We moved on up to the next highest concentration, and then we got both sets of pairs correct there, so then we moved down a single step, and then at that level we had 2 sets of pairs correct again, so we moved down. Again, we had 2 sets of pairs correct at the next lower level, so we moved down, but we missed the first set of pairs, so we didn't present the second at that level at 10 to the minus 7, so we moved back up. Same thing happened there. We presented 2 stimuli. There was a miss on the first set of pairs, so we moved back up. Then at the next step, we got 2 sets of pairs correct, so we moved down. We moved down, and then we missed the first pair, so we didn't give the second pair. We moved back up. So ultimately, we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 reversals, and that's where we'd ordinarily stop and to average the data. Typically, we only do 7 reversals, but for the demonstration here, I've done 9 just to show you how often these threshold values look. Now, in order to calculate the threshold, we calculate the first 4 reversals after the first 3. So here's 1, 2, 3. So here's the 4th reversal, here's the 5th reversal, the 6th reversal, and the 7th reversal. And we're going to take the average of those 4 reversals, and that will end up being his threshold measure. And there's a nice calculator right on the clipboard. So we'll put in 7. We'll add that to the next reversal, which is 6. Add that to the 6.5. And then add that to the 4th one, which is 6. And then we'll divide that value by 4, which is the average of those 4 reversals. And we come up with a measure of 6.375. So his threshold in logs is 6.375. It's actually a negative number. You can leave that out. It's a little confusing, but that's how we calculate the threshold for this individual with these reversals.